guys, if you're new to Deception Bytes, hit the like and subscribe button and be sure to hit the bell to be notified of future videos. If you wish to support the channel, the links are in the description below. Now, fasten your seatbelt. Here we go. All right, guys, I'm back, and it is Friday, April 26th, and we are going to catch up on the Q post because I did not post yesterday, and there was a couple posts, and we're going to just clean those up and get caught up with those. Q has not posted today, but what I'm going to do once I've uploaded that, I'm going to go on and get into the Q-related news. So, and there's plenty of that. Plenty. So we'll see how long my my energy lasts. I'll do at least 2 videos. You never know. It could be a 3-video night. One never knows. But I will do my best at any rate. So also let me know. I've been tinkering around with lighting, sound, and everything, trying to make this as, the best experience that I can make for you. I don't want people straining to hear, and I don't want people deafened when they listen to it either. So hopefully I've got a good balance, but let me know. I don't find your comments are critical at all, so don't think you're being critical. I don't know unless you tell me. So what you're experiencing, and if you if there's a good balance between my voice and when videos come on, I need to know all that. So just let me know. Hopefully we're getting closer anyway. All right, let's get into Q. Oh, sorry I didn't post yesterday. I've had really the worst 2 days I've had. My gosh, I don't even remember a day as bad as today. I'd have to go a long way back in history to to find a day as bad as today, and I don't know why I'm laughing, but I guess it's better than the alternative, which would be crying like a little girl. Anyway, let's get into Q. And enough of that. We all have our issues, I'm sure. Now, let's get down to, I can't remember where I left off, to tell you the truth, and I think I might have been missing one from the 24th as well. But it's interesting because in the Q-related news that I uploaded, I had already mentioned that about the outside contractors. So here is the Q post that came after I had uploaded my video on the 24th. And this was from Q on the 29th of January. And Q is letting us know here that he had stated before that there were 4 outside contractors. And then he said, this is why we were here. Good find, Anons, 4 contractors. And Joe DiGenova stated that tonight, which was 2 nights ago, and he says nothing to see here, Q. So remember when we played the video of Joe DiGenova and what he had said, he had actually said there were 4 outside contractors, but we knew that already because Q had told us back in January. Now, it's funny that Q actually posted that. I had included that in my Q-related news on the 24th. So anyway, let's go on here and see the next one on the 24th that I know I didn't show you guys was this. So let's just, in case you've missed it, and it says stay tuned, Q. So let's go see this status. It is a Twitter status. And it says, these are the kind of Q proofs that are almost eerie. Today, Joe DiGenova tells the world about 4 FBI contractors spying for 4 years prior to 2016. This Q drop is from January of 2018. So this is the same one we just looked at, and he's just pointing this out. So again, Q is pointing this out from Rosie's Ridiculous Bullshit. Their word, not mine. All right, so let's go back now and see what else Q has for us. And Q says, stay tuned. So yeah, I stay tuned indeed, because there is a lot happening. My gosh, so much is happening. And the deep state is freaking out. I mean, you can really literally see it now. I mean, big time. Except for, Joe Biden, who seems a little bit oblivious to everything. He actually said that the Obama presidency didn't have a hint of scandal. Wow. Okay. Yeah, I think he's like off in his own little land there. I think he's flipped his wig. I don't know. All right, let's look at this. And this is from the 24th, and it is Barack Obama's status. And Q says, "Will this age well?" Q, yeah, I don't think it's going to age well. Don't think it's going to age well at all, because look what he said. I spy. Now you know he's trolling back, right? That's how arrogant this man is. He's trolling Trump back. Sure he is. I spy. Yeah, that isn't going to age well at all. And he's always been very, people talk about Trump being, arrogant. But let me tell you, Trump wouldn't even hold a candle to Barack Obama. I don't call Trump arrogant, because I think that the things he says are true. That's the funny thing. It's not that he's exaggerating himself or, blowing up, over exaggerating, over emphasizing his achievements. No, he's not. He's telling the truth. That's what's so funny. But people will point at him and say, "Oh, he's so arrogant." No, he's just truthful. Big difference. Obama was arrogant, and he had nothing to be arrogant about. So, and he was not truthful about just about anything. So let's look at this next one, and this is from yesterday, and it's an article from The Hill, and we see Hussein in the little kill boxes. I don't know why I'm having trouble talking tonight, and it's bolded as well. And let's go take a look at this article, because we can. How the Obama White House...
Manafort's case is one of the cases that hurts me a lot. I can explain why.
All right. How the Obama White House engaged Ukraine to give Russia collusion narrative an early boost. Yeah. And let's take a look at this. Let's get rid of this. Let's get rid of this. All right. As Donald Trump began his meteoric rise to the presidency, the Obama White House summoned Ukrainian authorities to Washington to coordinate ongoing anti-corruption efforts inside Russia's most critical neighbor. The January 2016 gathering, confirmed by multiple participants and contemporaneous memos, brought some of Ukraine's top corruption prosecutors and investigators face to face with members of former President Obama's National Security Council, NSC, the FBI, State Department, and Department of Justice. The agenda suggested the purpose was training and coordination, but Ukrainian participants said it didn't take long during the meetings and afterward to realize that the Americans' objective included two politically hot investigations, one that touched Vice President Joe Biden's family, my gosh, and one that involved a lobbying firm linked closely to then-candidate Trump. U.S. officials kept talking about how important it was that all of our anti-corruption efforts be united, said a man whose name I can't pronounce, then a political officer in the Ukrainian embassy in Washington tasked with organizing the meeting. The man whose name I can't pronounce, who no longer works for the Ukrainian embassy, said U.S. officials volunteered during the meetings, one of which was held in the White House old executive office building, that they had an interest in reviving a closed investigation into payments to U.S. figures from Ukraine's Russia-backed Party of Regions. That 2014 investigation was led by the FBI and focused heavily on GOP lobbyist Paul Manafort, whose firm long had been tied to Trump through his partner and Trump pal Roger Stone. Agents interviewed Manafort in 2014 about whether he received undeclared payments from the party of ousted Ukrainian President Viktor Yanukovych, an ally of Russia's Vladimir Putin, and whether he engaged in improper foreign lobbying. The FBI shut down the case without charging Manafort. The man, whose name I can't pronounce, said he couldn't remember whether Manafort was mentioned during the January 2016 meeting, but he and other attendees recalled DOJ officials asking investigators from Ukraine's National Anti-Corruption Bureau if they could help locate new evidence about the Party of Regents payments and its dealings with Americans. It was definitely the case that led to the charges against Manafort and the leak to U.S. media during the 2016 election, he said. That makes the January 2016 meetings one of the earliest documented efforts to build the now debunked Trump-Russia collusion narrative, and one of the first to involve the Obama administration's intervention. Spokesperson for the NSC, DOJ, and FBI declined to comment, as naturally they would. A representative for former Obama National Security Advisor Susan Rice did not return emails seeking comment. They seem to lose a lot of emails. So perhaps she, misplaced it. Just giving her the benefit of the doubt. And near a place, Nazar, a name that I can't pronounce, Ukraine's chief anti-corruption prosecutor told me he attended some but not all of the January 2016 Washington meetings and couldn't remember the specific cases, if any, that were discussed. But he said he soon saw evidence in Ukraine of political meddling in the U.S. election. The man whose name I can't pronounce said the key evidence against Manafort, a ledger showing payments from the Party of Regents, was known to Ukrainian authorities since 2014, but was suddenly released in May 2016 by the U.S.-friendly NABU after Manafort was named Trump's campaign chairman. Somebody kept this black ledger secret for 2 years and then showed it to the public and the U.S. media. It was extremely suspicious. Well, do you think? All right. Now, the man, whose name I can't pronounce, said he explicitly instructed NABU investigators who were working with American authorities not to share the ledger with the media. Look, Manafort's case is one of the cases that hurt me a lot, he said. I ordered the detectives to give nothing to the mass media considering this case. Instead, they had broken my order and published themselves these 1 or 2 pages of this black ledger regarding Paul Manafort. For me, it was the first call that something was going wrong and that there is some external influence in this case, and there is some other interest in this case, not in the interest of the investigation and a fair trial, he added. Now, Kostiantin, can't pronounce his name. I do apologize. Deputy head of the Ukraine Prosecutors General's Internal Affairs Office said that shortly after Ukrainian authorities returned from Washington meeting, there was a clear message about helping the Americans with the Party of the Regents case. Yes, there was a lot of talking about needing help, and then the ledger just appeared in public, he recalled. Kulik said Ukrainian authorities had evidence that other Western figures, such as former Obama White House counsel Gregory Craig, also received money from the man who Yanukovych, I think that's right, party. But the Americans weren't interested. They just discussed Manafort. This was all and only what they wanted, nothing else. Manafort joined Trump's campaign on March 29, 2016, and then was promoted to campaign chairman on May 19, 2016. NABU leaked the existence of the ledgers on May 29, 2016. Later that summer, it told U.S. media the ledgers showed payments to Manafort, a revelation that forced him to resign from the campaign in August 2016. A Ukrainian court in December concluded NABU's release of the ledger was an illegal attempt to influence the U.S. election, and a member of Ukraine's parliament has released a recording of an NABU official saying the agency released the ledger to help Democratic nominee Hillary Clinton's campaign. Oh yes, they have it on. They have it recorded. Excuse me. In the other case raised at the January 2016 meeting, this man, whose name I can't pronounce, said involved Burisma Holdings, a Ukrainian energy company under investigation in Ukraine for improper foreign transfers of money. At the time, Burisma allegedly was paying then Vice President Joe Biden's son, Hunter, as both a board member and a consultant. More than $3 million flowed from Ukraine to an American firm tied to Hunter Biden in 2014 and 2015, bank records show. Oh yes, Joe likes to stand up in front of everybody and say, not a hint of scandal in the Obama White House. No, not a hint of it. Yeah. All right. Okay, now, according to the man whose name I can't pronounce, U.S. officials told the Ukrainians they would prefer that Kiev drop the Burisma probe and allow the FBI to take it over. The Ukrainians did not agree, but then Joe Biden pressured Ukrainian President Petro Poroshenko to fire Ukraine's chief prosecutor in March 2016, as I previously reported. The Burisma case was transferred to NABU, then shut down. Yeah. So Biden pressured the chief prosecutor in the Ukraine to shut down the case, and yeah, his son profited. $3 million flowed from Ukrainian to American firm tied to his son, but no, not a hint of scandal there. No, none. Interesting. It's not just his touchy-feely. It's not all that. That's not the only issue with Joe Biden. There's a whole heck of a lot more. That's just scratching and sniffing the surface right there. But there's more like this. Anyway, the Ukrainian embassy in Washington on Thursday confirmed the Obama administration requested the meetings in January 2016, but embassy representatives attended only some of the sessions. Unfortunately, the Embassy of Ukraine in Washington, D.C. was not invited to join the DOJ or other law enforcement sector meetings. That's a little odd, don't you think? It said it had no record that the Party of Regions or Burisma cases came up in the meetings it did attend. Ukraine is riddled with corruption, Russian meddling, and intense political conflicts, so one must carefully consider any Ukrainian accounts. But the man, whose name I can't pronounce, claims that the DOJ reopened its Manafort probe as the 2016 election is supported by the DOJ's own documents, including communications involving Associate Attorney General Bruce Orr, his wife Nellie, and ex-British spy Christopher Steele. Nellie Orr and Steele worked in 2016 for the research firm Fusion GPS that was hired by Clinton's campaign and the Democratic National Committee to find Russia dirt on Trump. Steele wrote the famous dossier for Fusion that the FBI used to gain a warrant to spy on the Trump campaign. Nellie Orr admitted to Congress that she routed Russia dirt on Trump from Fusion to DOJ through her husband during the election. DOJ, not a hint of scandal in the Obama White House. None there. Not a hint of it. DOJ emails show Nellie Orr on May 30th, 2016, directly alerted her husband and two DOJ prosecutors specializing in international crimes to the discovery of the Black Ledger documents that led to Manafort's prosecution. Reported trove of documents on Ukrainian Party of Regions black cash box. Nellie Orr wrote to her husband and federal prosecutor Lisa Holton and Joseph Wheatley, attaching a news article on the announcement of NABU's release of the documents. Bruce Orr and Steele worked on their own effort to get dirt on Manafort from a Russian oligarch, Oleg Deripaska, who had soured business relationship with him. Deripaska was almost ready to talk to U.S. government officials regarding the money that Manafort stole. Bruce Orr wrote in notes from his conversations with Steele. The efforts eventually led to a September 2016 meeting in which the FBI asked Deripaska if he could help prove Manafort was helping Trump collude with Russia. Deripaska laughed off the notion as preposterous. And you know why he laughed off the notion as preposterous? because it was preposterous, and it still is. Absolutely asinine. Anyway, but you know what? There's still a whole big percentage of the country that believes it. They believe that Trump colluded with the Russians, and they don't believe that there was no collusion. They still don't believe it. Unbelievable. All right. Now we have more evidence. Oh, sorry. I've missed something, and it could be important. Previously, Politico reported that the Ukrainian embassy in Washington assisted Clinton's campaign through a DNC contractor. Yes, that is important. The Ukrainian embassy acknowledges it got requests for assistance from the DNC staffer to find dirt on Manafort, but denies it provided any improper assistance. Now we have more concrete evidence that the larger Ukrainian government was also being pressed by the Obama administration to help build the Russia collusion narrative, and that opinion is only beginning, and that onion, rather, is only beginning to be peeled. Well, this is just the top layer of the onion. What are we going to get when we get to the core? I bet we're going to get a whole lot of tears. But not a hint. There's not a hint of wrongdoing in the Obama White House. Not a hint of scandal. No. But what is already confirmed by Ukrainians looks a lot more like assertive collusion with a foreign power than anything detailed in the Mueller report. Yeah, so who was it that was colluding with the Russians? Well, the Ukrainians anyway. Obama. His whole regime there seemed to be in collusion to try to find dirt on Trump. Didn't matter if it was true or not, and it wasn't. Didn't matter to them. Anyway, that's from John Solomon, and I do trust his reporting, and I know that POTUS trusts his reporting as well. So let's go back here and go back to Q. So it's no wonder that we've got Hussein in the kill box in big bolded letters. Capital letters too. So he's in a whole heap of trouble, and he can be as arrogant as he wants with his little I Spy, but his goose is cooked. It is. He's not going to get away with this. He's not. And I know he's very well liked by the American people. I don't know why, because I really don't know what he did for the country, to tell you the truth. I don't know. We'll see what happens. It frightens me, to tell you the truth, because I see this, it's all caving in. Their little house of cards is all caving in very, very quickly. And I don't know what they're going to do. They're all cornered now, and that makes it unpredictable. Are there going to be more false flags? Are there going to be what's going to happen? What's going to happen to the country when they wake up to the fact that, okay, not only is Donald Trump innocent, not only was there no collusion, not only was he exonerated, but this whole thing has been made up. And the people that were doing wrong were the very people that were accusing him. What are people gonna, when they really wake up and they realize the crimes that Hillary and Obama and others have committed? What are they gonna do? How are they gonna react? I don't know. I really don't. Anyway, let's get on to the last one from April 25th, and this does bring us up to date with the Q post. And Q is asking us, why would a president of the United States, Hussein, assign renegade as his U.S. Secret Service code name? Define renegade. It's a noun. 1. A person who deserts and betrays an organization, country, or set of principles. Synonyms for which are words that are different but mean the same. The synonyms for renegade are traitor, defector, deserter, turncoat, betrayer. The adjective renegade, it can also be used as an adjective, one having treacherously changed allegiance. Like you could say the renegade Obama, or you could say Obama is a renegade. It could be a noun or an adverb. So, yeah, why would he choose that name? It's not, would you really want, if you're, the most important position in the United States, would you want to be known as a renegade? Somebody that deserts and betrays an organization? Or country? Or a set of principles? I wouldn't. But hey, we're different people. We're a lot different than Barack Hussein Obama. At least I hope we all are. Anyway, well, that is it for Q. Now I'm going to get this uploaded, and I am going to get on with some Q-related news because there's some really interesting stuff to get to. So I hope you'll come back and join me because it gets lonely here, just sitting here talking to myself. So I do hope you'll come back and join me. And I will see you guys real soon. Thank you so much for listening. And also drop me a note in the comments. Let me know how you're finding the lighting and the sound and so forth. So that's it. And also, thank you so much, you guys that have joined Patreon. Even people that have donated like $1 a month. You may think, okay, well, what difference does that make? It makes a big difference because, I realize, look, you know what? Not everybody can afford to donate, and that is absolutely fine. There are people on fixed incomes and people struggling, and that is the last thing I want them doing with their money if they're struggling to support either themselves or their family. But if you can, join Patreon or buy me a coffee once in a while because it really does help. I have been demonetized, and it just helps the channel keep going and helps me to keep doing what I'm doing. So thank you guys so much, and I will talk to you real soon, I hope. Have a great night.